how often should I work out? Well, in other terms, how often should you recover? I mean, how often should you work out? Well, you know, it is good if you have like at least one day of the week. That's one. Well, if you're training Monday to Friday, if you train 5 times, at least 5 times every week, then it's important that you also take weekly rests, especially if it's high volume, high intensity and so forth. Then you need to take a week rest every 3 or 4 months, something like that. I would say 3 months, actually, every 3 months, because you will start feeling like, all right, my body needs rest now. I've gone a little bit, too much sometimes, or too long and so forth. My calves need some muscles in the calves, not all of them, need to rest, and I can feel it in my body. I'm always sore. You can once you're not a beginner anymore, once you get intermediate and you get a little bit more advanced, you'll start feeling this. You'll start getting to your instincts. That's why I'm always talking about that. Most people are away from their instincts because they're always on social media. They're always on these devices. They don't know how to communicate with people anymore. I'm gonna make some more videos about that. I think that's almost like a bigger issue, but it is part of the aesthetic human anyway, so everything is, because all of that clutter has to be removed. All of that clutter has to be removed. We gotta keep the ancient wisdom, so to speak. That's all we keep from the ancients, the great wisdom there, and then we bring it back to reality, to modern day reality, present moment. We use it. It's a tool. It's not just for fun. It's not just for intellectualism. It is a tool. Now, I've created all these tools. It'll come soon, but I've already actually given you basically all of my tools in my philosophical lectures. I give you all my tools there, so you just apply everything, and once you apply all of this, your life will be better and greater. Better. It will be closer to your higher desire, what you truly desire, not what you desire in the moment. I know you desire scrolling all this nonsense, but that is short term. You gotta always think long term. Long term is the goal here. It's always long term. It's health, long term. You wanna live long, you wanna live quality. So it's super important that you rest. It's important that you relax. It's important that you meditate as well. It is important that you do all these things. You can't do just one thing. All right? You got to do all of them. Of course, life is one, and yet it's not one. All right? Because there are multiple parts of life. We're complex creatures, and yet I'm making it easier. I'm creating a philosophy that's needed in this society. I've created a philosophy that's truly needed in this society. The same way Epicurus created a philosophy. Now, I will talk later more about philosophy. Today, I will try to get finished everything, the way I want to finish everything. And in the evening, or, perhaps a bit later, we will get into Epicurus a little bit, death, and stuff like that. I'll make some push-ups now, but then I will actually take my week off. I will take a whole week off training now from today. Well, yeah, obviously from today. So, all right, I'll do like on this bench here. I'll do like what is it? 30 or 40. I'm gonna try making 40 or 50 reps. Let's see if I can do 50 reps of these decline push-ups, then I'll do some incline push-ups, and then I'll do some broad push-ups. Oh, I need to do my diamond push-ups, of course. I always got to do, you know, on my regular push-up day, I always do diamond push-ups. That's my, you know, that's a hard one, and that's my, I love doing it, and that's how I get most of my chest work. I never, you know, now I have a chest definition, I have a chest now. You know, you get proud of yourself. You get proud of yourself, you start loving yourself more, and you don't worry about what will happen to you. You know, you will die in great shape. You will die in great shape. That is beautiful. Even if something happens, so you're not afraid on that level as well. You see, there are many layers to reality, many layers. All right, so now I wish I had a, you know, someone to bounce with, because I realize I'm quite serious all the time. But life shouldn't be just serious, you know. Life should be fun as well. I laugh a lot during the day. It's not like I dislike comedy, but you know, you gotta bounce with someone. You gotta have someone to bounce with, otherwise it doesn't work. So I wanna work with someone, actually. I wanna work with someone, but we'll see if that happens. That would be fun. Now that's joy, you know. We can say fun, but joy, that's truth. All right, so let's do some decline push-ups. Let's see if I can capture it well here. Usually I do my diamond push-ups first, but I will do, sometimes I do decline first. Or, you know, you can switch it around a little bit, because you might get a little bit bored if you do the same thing all the time. But you do the same things, just a different order, so, which is fine. It doesn't have to be harder. You know, you can have the middle one in the middle. You know, you can have the, you can switch around like that. Right? There are no rules really. You make your own rules. Well, I can make your rules, obviously. Well, I am making your rules. I'm making a philosophy. But within this philosophy, there is flexibility. It's not super rigid. It's not super rigid so that it is universal as well. But it's rigid enough for people to follow and, you know, develop themselves. That's it, you know. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. You know, Epicurus, it was flexible. Epicureanism, it's quite flexible. Heraclitus is quite flexible, and yet it's not, you know. And that's what I try to capture as well. I want to touch that with my chest, that's why I go like that. Oh. You know, like I always say it doesn't have to be perfect, all right? It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you do it. You see, I have definition, and it's never been perfect. Never. It's never been perfect form, never been perfect range of motion. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It's better to always be there, you know? I always remember those words. Be there. Those who succeed are always there. Be there. Doesn't matter if it's something, you know, doesn't matter what it is actually, but you know, in training as well, be there for yourself. Be there and train, you know. Be there and always show up. Always show up. Doesn't matter if you're not prepared this time, you'll be better prepared next time, and you continue like that. Another thing I want to add is I want to do more cardio as well. You got to do cardio. Cardio is important. You got to have, and I love running. So and I think my body's more almost created for it, It's more, I remember a friend, he used to say, your running form, he said, it's great, your running is great. And he was a high jump guy, I think. Is it called high jumping? High jumping. He was jumping, and he said that, so gotta be something, gotta mean something. But I love calisthenics, but I mean, running is part of calisthenics, so of course it is. So calisthenics is just body weight workout. But I mean, running is also body weight workout. You have your whole upper body as your weight while you're running, so you get actually big legs from running, sprinting, not marathon. You gotta always see what the physique is on all of these athletes, and then you want to emulate. All right, we're all emulators in some sense. You emulate the way I am. I emulate the way others are. But we all collect something, and also we're all generalized intelligence in some sense. We all have a general. We all are a little bit philosophical. We're not all philosophers, but we're all a little bit philosophical. We're all a little bit. That's why every profession thinks that their profession is the center of the universe. Like, all right, a salesperson will say, or a business person will say, everyone is a salesperson. A philosopher will say, everyone is a philosopher. A teacher will say, everyone is a teacher. Everyone is a student, and so forth. So that's where that comes from. It's because we are. That's the deeper reason why we're like that. Because we're generalized intelligence. We can do many things because we're adaptable and we're adapted creatures. And luckily we have thumbs. We can speak, and then our brains grew and so forth. You see, all those things combined created us. And it got actually created when we started to eat a lot of meat. That's when Homo sapiens, our distant ancestors in the Pleistocene, 2.6 million years ago, they ate a ton. They were forced to eat a ton of meat. That's why we have glyconeogenesis as a mechanism in our bodies, so that you can actually eat a ton of meat and still get sugar in your body. All right, this video will be like everything. All right, it started with how often should I train, ended with glyconeogenesis. But you can't just talk about one thing. That's not in my nature. That's why I wanted to go let's go fitness, but I always turn back to everything because you need all the things. You can't just leave meditation. All right, you need meditation. So you need all of the parts. A car cannot work without all of the parts. All right, you need all the parts. If you're not showing up for yourself, at least do it to nature. All right, at least do it to nature. Show up for nature. Show up for whatever it is. But I love the nature, so I will always do this. Always. This is the foundation. Your body and mind is the foundation. And I'll talk about this a bit deeper in a different video. But I have new thoughts on meaning of life as well, and the dynamics between me and you and so forth, and others. Me and others. You and others as well. So every single person has this dynamic. It's a universal dynamic. I'll talk about this perhaps a little later. Oh, and sleep deprivation, a little bit at least, is very good for creativity. Desperation is also good for creativity. Deadlines as well. So, deadlines are not that good for, It is for creativity, but also to finish things, of course, but also for creativity, actually. So I've done a lot of great work in just like 2 days. So when I really want to, I can do anything. And that's anyone, all right? When you really want to, you can do anything. You can do anything. All right, so, all right. Two more sets. The battery or the storage will end here, I think. I have some storage left, so let's just delve into that meaning I was thinking of. All right, so in some sense, all you have is 3 things in life: your body, mind, and your task, your extended hand, as I call it as well, or your extended self, as I also call it. So your task is your legacy, your work, your purpose work, your purpose. All right, you can call it your meaning, your extended meaning. Now, for you yourself, for the person, mind and body is directly meaningful. That's why I speak of health as the meaning of life. But this is only indirectly true and indirectly meaningful to other people. To other people, my work here that I'm giving here, so I'm the giver and you're the taker, and you take, those people who find it meaningful will take it to heart, and I'm giving it from heart. All right, I give everything I create, I give from my soul. All right, I give from my whole self. All right, my whole self, all the echoes of myself, as I call it. So for me, the soul is the echoes of the self. That's why it's not just one thing. Now, meaning is directly for me, my body and my health, my mind. But body and mind, that's it, and that is health. Health affects it. But then my task at hand, that is my legacy. So I'm giving, but I'm also taking. But you're the taker of the meaning, but I'm also taking. But you can't see it, but you see it in time. But I take legacy. All right, I take legacy. Ultimately, I take legacy. In the process, it might be money, it might be reputation, it might be something like that, and some memory and so forth. But then the ultimate goal for me and for every single person, because we want immortality, so that is why it's immortal legacy. It's a legacy. It's beyond our lives, and that's the only true way to be immortal. That's the only true way. That's the only way, because in death there is nothing. Death is nothingness. So once you're in death, you become one with nothingness. Or as Epicurus said, you shouldn't worry about death. Now that's true as well. You shouldn't worry about death. You shouldn't revel on death too much. But it doesn't concern us, because when I am, death is not. When death is, I am not. All right. So that's why I say you become one with nothingness. You become nothing. So there is no meaning in death. There is meaninglessness. It's meaningless. So once I'm dead, there is no more meaning I can give. So that's why it's important that my body still is alive, so that it can still create meaning. So it can continually create meaning. Once I'm dead, I can't continually create meaning anymore. The only meaning that lives on is my legacy, the work that is always there. So for example, Nietzsche. Now Nietzsche is dead, all right? But he's not dead at the same time, because his legacy will always live on in his work, as long as humans exist, of course. As long as there is some sentient being that can see this. So when you say outer and objective, objectively, the legacy is the meaning for me, for example. But technically, it has to be a conscious sentient being that sees this. So it's not objectively from the universe, because the universe doesn't care. The universe is the true nihilist, the true, materialist, so to speak. That's nature. Nature is that. Nature itself is that. If you can even say nature itself. Because it's not a consciousness. I don't believe it's a consciousness at all. Now, and it's not, certainly not perfection, all right? Because I've never seen perfection, you know? I've never seen perfection. Even though I have, you know, there is art I love, and there is philosophy that I love, you know, even Thus Spoke Zarathustra, it's not perfect. It will never be perfect. It's created by a human being. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. Perfection is death, actually. Actually, well, you see, it's in the language. It's in the language. Nothing is perfect. You see, nothing, nothingness is perfect. It is pure stillness. It is nothingness. It is meaningless. You see, that's why I also talk about motion is life. Motion is life. You gotta move. You gotta move. All right. So that's the relationship between me and you, me and, you know, and you actually with others as well. You give meaning as well. It's not just you know, every single person has a legacy, or, you know, try to have a legacy, or tries to have a legacy, but not everyone succeeds. And that's life. It's always like that. But you gotta fight for it. You gotta fight to have this legacy. And that's the hard path. But the hard path is always the right path. The hard path is always the right path. Always. If it's getting easy, it's wrong. You gotta change something. And if it's getting unjoyous, it's also wrong, and you gotta change something. Those are the important principles when it comes to human psychology and human psyche. All right, I'll finish these push-ups now. These push-ups are almost as important. Well, they are most important to me, subjectively, because that's my body and my mind. But without it, my legacy can't exist either, because that's the extended hand. The extended hand relies on the indirect, from your perspective, the indirect meaning of life. All right, so now I will finish it.